And what up, what up, what up? It is your boy, Dan.
No, you're not Dan.
AKA Dan Estrada. And I am the Infinite, here to talk about E3. I'm actually pretty excited for today. Let's see how it works out. Let's see how it goes. How you feeling, Dan?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, as I'm the aforementioned Dan Estrada. Interestingly enough, that Lance is not Dan Estrada, since he has started by saying, "It's me, Dan Estrada." But
Thank you for
I'm
calling me out.
no, I'm doing great, and I'm excited for this conversation and excited for E3. Very excited for E3. So, yeah, I don't know.
We are okay. Cool.
You're excited.
So yeah, let's go ahead and get it started. So E3, what is E3? If you're curious, E3 is the Electronic Entertainment Expo, commonly referred to as E3. It is a premier trade event for video game industry, presented by entertainment software associations. It is used by many developers, publishers, and hardware and accessory manufacturers to introduce and advertise upcoming games and gaming-related merchandise to retailers and members of the press. There's more to it, but I'm going to leave it to that because I think that's a good starting point. It definitely gives you an idea of what E3 is and what you should expect from this kind of event. So, I'll let you take the reins there.
Well, before I go into anything, I'm gonna give. So at E3 they do like press conferences for all the different companies. Not all the different companies, but a lot of different game companies have presence, as well as the main console companies as well. So I'm gonna give you for the folks at home who want to know what time their favorite company is talking about stuff. I'm going to give you the times in New York Eastern Standard Time and what time they're having their conference. So we'll start with the first conference of the week is EA. That's going to be Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, we have Microsoft, followed by Bethesda at 9:30 p.m. Then on Monday, the third day of E3, we have Square Enix at 1, Ubisoft at 4, and the PC Gaming Show at 6, and Sony closing the day out at 9. And then Tuesday morning, we have one little last tidbit from your boys at Nintendo. And that's the schedule for the week. And there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things being talked about and being announced. So I'm going to start by just saying some confirmed announcements, and we will talk about them. Some smaller things like Sonic Racers was announced. That's going to get like a more formal announce at E3. Only reason I wrote that down is because they just put the like Sonic All Stars Sega Racer game, whatever, on backwards compatible on Xbox 360, and that game is surprisingly incredible and has such a very deep Sega roster, including the names of Sonic the Hedgehog, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sega favorite Wreck-It Ralph, also, as we all know and love from our Sega games, Danica Patrick, the real life human being. So just because some of those characters, it's a fun game too. It's like a fun Mario Kart spinoff. So I'm excited for Sonic Racers. Another game that's coming, a couple games that are coming that I don't really care too much about. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is Assassin's Creed Origins 2, essentially. It's a continuation of the origin story. That game was supposed to be really good, so it's getting a sequel. I don't know if it's too soon or what. I think it's not coming till 2019 yet, so that might be a little bit wait time. And also, we're getting more information on the new BioWare title, Anthem, which is, I don't know, it's like Iron Man, the game, kind of. That's what it looked like last year. I guess we'll find out more so how it plays this year. But yeah, those are some of the, like, confirmed announcements. I don't know if you have anything you want to say about those. Rage 2 and Fallout 76 as well.
A little bit, you know. I guess it's hard to do wrong in those racing type of games. Every spin-off that I've actually played in those arenas are satisfactory. You know, nobody dislikes Diddy Kong Racing. And I'm sure
Diddy Kong Racing is good. And they're actually making a spiritual successor to Diddy Kong Racing, I heard. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I mean, they could do the Mario Kart games poorly. I've played some. I didn't like Crash Team Racing very much, to be honest. But the Sonic Racing game that I played on the 360, or I just played on the Xbox One, but it was for the 360. It was a very good game. So only positive things from me on that part. But you're right; it's probably a hard thing to mess up.
I loved that Crash Bandicoot racing game, if that's what you're talking about. I loved it.
A lot of people did.
It was so great. It was so fun, dude.
I didn't like it that much. I don't know why.
You see these smiles, bro?
Yeah, I can
like
see
you just brought back a lot of good memories for me.
PR, dog.
It was a blast, man. Why, man?
I don't know. It wasn't my cup of tea. I don't remember. I didn't play a whole lot of it, so I don't have like a huge frame of reference. But I just remember just being like, "It's a bootleg Mario Kart. I play Mario Kart."
That's probably why. I just had fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'd normally do, but, you know, as a kid and sometimes still, I'm a grouchy bastard. So, whatever. It is what it is.
I digged it, though.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Sonic fan, though. So maybe I'll have that scenario to where it's like, I just don't rap. Because, like, I don't know. Sonic just... It's just like there's so many confusing
Sonic is
things
super hit
for
and miss.
me.
I mean, there's a lot of good Sonic. There's also a lot of terrible Sonic. And then the internet is just weird Sonic. Like Sonic getting pregnant and stuff. So,
oh yeah, I mean, people love their Sonic. You know, there's plenty of people in our Smash community who really do love Sonic. Like, love Sonic. I don't know why. He's a fast hedgehog because he has tennis shoes that make him fast, and I feel like that was never explained to me. Like, there was just so many things about his universe that just bother the hell out of me. Like, Dr. Robotnik. Like,
Eggman, dog.
Like, why... Why does he have to catch animals to power his robot? There's just a lot of things like that to where as a kid I just thought too hard about it.
If you think too hard about too many old video games, none of them will really make sense. And all of them are kind of like bogus.
That one hurt my brain though. Even as like a 5-year-old child, it hurt my brain. Like it's like I was 5 years old confused. Like all the other ones I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. But this one was like, no, I'm gonna hurt your brain. Today we're gonna hurt your brain, and I was like, yeah, it's hurt. I'm confused. I'm dazed, you know. But you know, and then I actually am pretty hyped for Anthem.
I know everyone really else seems to be, but I'm not.
Like, it does seem kind of like my game, but then at the same time, you know, it's like as far as my list of because I separated E3. Based off of yes please from the stuff that I did come across, and then I kind of have a meh, if it happens it happens, it's whatever, and that's kind of where I sit in this situation. But Anthem's definitely on the list of yes please. Like I have really enjoyed what they showed us, and I think I've always had a craving for those different types of games. I just think that they don't do them properly. and which is why they don't kind of hit home properly, because they're just not done right. They just kind of fizzle out in some way. It's lackluster in a lot of different ways. People talk about Destiny, that I just could never bring myself to even buy the game, because all my friends are like, it's terrible. And it's supposed to be
Destiny 1, but it was all right.
Yeah. See,
that's what everybody says. It was one of the first games I got for my Xbox because of everybody like being so hyped up about it, but it was okay at best. Like, it was nothing to write home about. I don't know why everybody went crazy over it, but it's Bungie. Bungie has a huge cult following, so
I love Bungie, man, and like, as I keep stating, Halo is probably my favorite franchise of all time, even though I think it's in the dumps and it's not where I want to do.
Then you're gonna maybe like Halo 6. One of the rumors, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can go into it because it's definitely the first thing on my list.
Let's stick with the confirmed things, and then we'll we'll talk about the things we already know are gonna happen and just hype ourselves up a little bit about those, and then talk about the things that maybe won't happen, and then the things that we want to happen.
All mine are kind of not confirmed though. Everything
I did, I made sure to look to make sure things that are confirmed. But I mean, things that are not confirmed, those are called rumors, so we could talk about them there.
I mean, we can go through the confirmed list. We could go through your list real quick and just have a few conversations, and then once we hit those marks, we can go from there.
Yeah. But so other things that are confirmed, we got Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be shown a little bit in the Square Enix conference. We should be getting the release date, which is the most important part of that whole thing.
Well, I mean, I've heard people have touched the game.
Yeah. People played like a demo of it kind of in California a couple weeks ago, and that's where a lot of like shit leaked from, like, for example, like Wreck-It Ralph being in the game and stuff like that. Oh, spoilers if you didn't want to know Wreck-It Ralph was in the game. I mean, they don't go to Wreck-It Ralph World or anything. He's just a summon, but I love Wreck-It Ralph. So.
Oh, dude, I love fucking Wreck-It Ralph.
I'm so excited. Did you see the trailer for Wreck-It Ralph too?
Yeah.
It looks great. Other things we got. Obviously, they're going to talk about Spider-Man a little bit more. That's going to be probably a big part of the Sony press conference, because I think that is like their biggest exclusive coming out, other than The Last of Us 2, which they'll talk about for a long time too, and they'll probably do a little bit on Death Stranding. But Spider-Man, we're going to probably hear about more of the like changes between the different kits you can get, like the different spider suits and stuff like that. Other things, we got Rage 2 and Fallout 76 were announced by Bethesda, so they'll probably talk about those in their conference. And by the way, why the hell does Bethesda get its own conference? They have like 6 games. Like,
it's supposed to be, from my understanding, from the research that I've done, it's supposed to be like a giant announcement that they have a lot to say.
No. Bethesda always has a conference. They have a conference every year. And last year it was like, look at all these Skyrim ports. And that's pretty much what the whole thing was. And I'm like, why I just watch Skyrim ports for an hour?
I mean, people love that game. Yeah, like, it might not be a game that you rocks with.
No, for sure. But
people love that damn game.
I know a ton of people that love it. My old roommate Keith, he played hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of hours in that game. Still plays it to this day. It's like the only game he still plays. But they're essentially just memeing themselves by releasing a port of it to every different thing on the planet, like Skyrim 5 for the shoe. Like, that's the next announcement we're gonna get. Where you'll be able to play Skyrim 5 on your shoes. Or Skyrim Elder Scrolls 5. I keep making that mistake. I keep calling it Skyrim 5. There's only one Skyrim. But yeah, and that they also have Fallout 76, which is a new Fallout or a new game in the Fallout universe, but I don't think it's going to play like a traditional Fallout game.
Yeah, I've heard like things like it might work into a Survivor / massively maybe not like, massively
supposedly it's like Rust. It's kind of like Rust.
Yeah, which I'm actually hyped for. It would bring a lot of life for me.
I'm not a huge Bethesda guy, but you know what? If people like it, then hell yeah, good for them. For them.
I like the Fallout universe. They just do some weird things, and again, we've talked about it several times to where it's like I don't like aimless exploring, like to like an overly explosion of side quests is not really my cup of tea. I like achieving things. I like there to be an end. I like there to be a cohesive story, compelling lore, and I just feel like that's really hard to do with a bunch of side quests. Nothing feels important. And, it's like you start playing the game, and then you just realize that you could go left, you could go right, you could go up, you could go down, you could do whatever you want, when you want, how you want. And it's like they do have like these small elements of like linear story, but it's like so far from their main objective that it never feels like something important to do. And they do that in pretty much all their games. And it's like, it's a smash hit to a lot of people. It's just not so much to me. So this sounds like really interesting if they actually do it right, and maybe it'll meet some of the whole, PUBG type of gameplay that everybody's gonna eventually try to create just because they need to make the business.
Everything is Battlegrounds. Hopefully, Battlegrounds dies out soon.
It's exhausting, but I think we're gonna get some cool things from it. Like you say that, and then it's like
we already have Fortnite. Like Fortnite's fine. That's to me that is the pinnacle of what has come out of the Hunger Games style battle royale games.
I think Fortnite's larger than life, but I think of every other genre where I'm happy that they explored other things and other people jumped on the bandwagon. So like, imagine if, Final Fantasy didn't take it off the ground and everybody was like, we need to make turn-based strategy games. Like, I'd be hurt. And so I think that like Fortnite has like a different like feel to it, to where it's like, it's so dominating and in your face, you feel like that's enough. But like, there's a lot of cool things that could be born from this genre that we just haven't explored yet.
I don't know. I've yet to see them. Even Battlegrounds. Even Paladins has a Battlegrounds mode, and I think that's the dumbest thing ever. But listen, once again, to each their own. I'm not going to tell anybody what they can and can't make and what they can and can't buy. I'm just going to tell them that I ain't buying that shit.
I would kind of like a Borderlands like that. I would buy that. I would buy that.
I would if they announce, one of my hopeful things is a new something Borderlands. If they announce Borderlands Battlegrounds, I'm done. I'm out. I'm out. I'm fucking returning my copy of the Hanson collection that I still play this day. I'm done.
Serious, Dad?
That is so lame.
Why?
Because it's tired. It's a tired art form at this point to create a Battlegrounds game for your game. You're not doing anything different. You're not changing the form. You're doing the same old shit, just with different characters. It's tired. It's lame. Next.
You have sort of coaxed me into this belief system of at least we got it. We did Solo last week, and you were like, it was a movie. It wasn't that great, but at least we got it. At least we got it, because there was a chance that we weren't able to explore this space and kind of, and like, you kind of sold me a little bit. You sold me a little bit. And I'm coming here today like, let's see what...
I don't know where you get this, that I'm part of the at least we got it crowd. I'm just part of I enjoyed it. That for what it was worth. Like, I didn't want it, but I watched it and I was like, you know what? That's pretty good. That's where I was. I didn't give a shit. If it didn't exist, I wasn't going to be like, what the heck? But it does exist and I liked it. But like, there's some things I think don't need to exist. I think making a Battlegrounds version of every game does not need to happen. I don't want Madden Battlegrounds. I don't want Madden period, but I don't want Madden Battlegrounds. I don't want Call of Duty Battlegrounds, which is an actual thing that's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah. I don't like, if they come out with an Overwatch Battlegrounds, I might lose it because I don't understand what the point would be at that point. Like, why? But anyway, enough with the Battlegrounds. We have one last confirmed thing that we're going to talk about, and that's the big one, Smash, baby. We're going to get some Smash news. Well, actually, we're going to get some Smash news early, little early present, because there's a pre-E3 Direct coming the 6th, which is tomorrow.
We might have to watch it. We might have to take a break from
King
of the Hill.
I believe I will be at work, so I can't watch it live with you, but...
Well, Smurf will probably do it.
There you go. But yeah, it's supposed to be tomorrow. There's definitely talking about Smash in it. They announced today. I'll let you know the time exactly when I have it.
Right.
But I don't have it off the top of my head. But yeah, so we'll get some Smash news tomorrow. Hopefully we'll find out if it's Smash 5. Hopefully we'll get a release date.
It
There's
better not
rumors
be a.
being
It
that
better not
that
be a port.
there's
I've converted to that. It better not be a port.
I don't think it will be. I think it's going to be a collection in a sense. I think it's going to because I've heard rumors that a certain slippy fellow who
Snake.
likes to hide in boxes might make a return.
So you think
So
it's gonna be like
I think it's going to be like a
Super
best
Smash
of.
Bros. Like All Stars or something like that?
Kinda, yeah. I think it's going to be like we got it all, baby.
That would
Made all the
actually be
money.
really dope.
We got it all, and we put it all on the Smash 4 engine. Which, yeah, that is the optimal route for the game to take, in my opinion. That's what I want the most. But we'll see. We'll find out tomorrow. They're going to be playing it at E3 as well. They have a little tournament set up for like professional Smash players to play it, like they did with Smash 4. So it's exciting times, and we're getting it this year. So that's even excitinger, right?
Yeah. I mean, I want big characters to have armor. I think that would add so much complexity to the game itself. And I've been preaching it, and Alvin's like, I hate you for even mentioning it, because then you're going to play the game, and you're going to play all these characters with armor, and you're going to cry wolf. And I was like, actually, I'm probably going to play characters with armor, because then all of a sudden, all these characters that are, in the large scheme of things, considered unusable will be
There
usable.
are characters with armor, though.
Little Mac.
Little Mac has armor. Bowser has armor on certain moves.
Charizard.
Ganon has certain moves, has armor. Charizard has certain moves with armor.
I mean, it just needs to be more expensive. Like, I want it to be a full integrated kind of system in the actual game. I would not call it an actual system. There are kind of features that each character has, but it's not like built into the system, I feel. You know, to where it's like the Little Mac was starting to get into that kind of realm, but it hasn't reached full effect, at least not the way I envision it. And so, yeah, there's aspects of it, but it's not full blown.
Yep. So that's pretty much it for the confirmed things. I don't think there's really anything to talk about there. So rumors, what are some rumors you've heard?
Dude, Halo 6, man. This is going to be the make or break situation for me.
It's not quite Halo 6, though, so don't put all your dicks into the Halo 6 basket. From what I hear, it's something called Halo Infinity, which I think would be closer to a Reach type deal than a Halo 6.
I mean, that's fine. I'd actually be okay with them branching the series to where Halo 6 is the mainstay, and they're going to keep all the stuff that nobody likes. And, you know, obviously they've built a community around it that actually does like it, so I understand why they're not like, oh, let's just split our fucking market that we've accidentally created by accident. You know, like, cool, great. But, you know, I mean, I feel like most Halo fans, real, like, OG Halo fans, want some return to old. And I feel like they kind of need to do that a little bit, you know. And it's like, this is scary for me because, like, I'm gonna buy the damn game whether I hate it or not. Yeah. That's just how much of a fan I am. It's like one of the few things that I'm actually a real fucking fan of. I'm a real fan, you know, and I'm gonna buy it. It's just I'm kind of sad already, you know. It's just like because there's this really really good chance that they're just not going to do it, you know, and they've said things like, oh, we've learned, we're going to take every aspect from each game, we've made some adjustments to all these old other games, we're going to bring Master Chief Collection to its glory that it was supposed to be when we launched it like 5 years ago, and it's still not quite right, you know, and like we've made some adjustments to the Halo 4 engine so we can play Halo 2 and Halo 5 engine, blah, 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 all those different things, and, you know, like, hopefully it'll get full circle, and we get the game we deserve, you know, because, and I'm speaking like a real fan, I'm like, in my gut, I'm a little...
worried.
I have such a distaste already to where it's like I'm ready to be let down. I'm gonna buy your damn game.
You should be.
I'm gonna buy your damn game.
Not saying anything against like Microsoft or Halo in general, but you should be prepared to be let down just because if you're not prepared when you are, it's gonna suck. But for all we know, this is just a rumor. This game might not be announced. It's just talks. I forwarded it to my buddy who's a big Halo head too, and he was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Infinity is the name of the ship that Master Chief is on at the end of Halo 5. So I don't know exactly what that means. But who knows? I think it's cool, and I think Microsoft desperately needs a good exclusive. So hopefully, for their sake, uh, this is the Halo that does it, because they haven't really had a hit Halo since like 3. I think 3 was like the last like
Yeah.
really big Halo. Like ODST and Reach, I heard were good, but they have like a cult following. Where the Halo 3 was like, I went to the Halo 3 midnight release, and I didn't even buy Halo. I just went to hang out.
Like that's for sure the last hurrah. You know, like I wasn't impressed by ODST, but you know, there was a lot of people who actually did enjoy the game. Like I feel like most people, it was a little too expensive for what it is they were selling. You know, and they definitely sold a lot based off of the name alone.
Right,
You
just
know,
using the name Halo.
And I really thought that they were gonna do what I felt like I could feel.
Was
Like
ODST the
Bungie's.
first 343 one, or was it the last Bungie one?
I think Reach was the last Bungie one.
Reach was the last Bungie one.
And then after 4 was the first 343 installation.
Yeah.
So they got 3 Halo games, you know, and I think ODST and Reach were just a little extra to finish out their contract before they went to Activision and all that other stuff, and blah 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 blah. I don't really know the specifics. I just knew I loved the game, you know, and I'm kind of one of those guys that doesn't like go super into the fan. I just like it, you know, and so it's like that's good enough for me. And
that's fine.
And in these situations, like, you know, ODST was what I felt like I could feel it. I could feel it in the zeitgeist, like the drive to be like Call of Duty. And I thought ODST did a good job of doing that, satisfying that crowd without destroying their fucking franchise. And it's like I don't know why they just didn't do that. Why don't you just make Marines like in ODST fashion in the Halo universe, act like real soldiers and make a Call of Duty type game? Why do you have to take, you know, what makes Halo like not Halo? And it just bothers the hell out of me, because we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it, Dan. I know, I can see it in your eyes, like, he's going into it. Yes, I'm going into it. I fucking love that game.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's like they could have just did so many things not to actually taint it. And I hate that, like, Call of Duty was trying to be like Halo. Halo was trying to be like Call of Duty. And you can see how business just destroyed what...
Both of them.
Yeah, what I just...
No, actually, Call of Duty is still very successful. I don't know about Halo. I mean, actually, there's still a lot of Halo.
Oh, no, it's still popular.
Which is wild. My buddy Julian still plays Halo 5, and I don't get it.
It's just not all time. Halo was the fucking game. It was the fucking game.
It's the reason why competitive multiplayer shooters are probably as big as they are now. Is like back in when Halo 1 first came out for Xbox, like getting all your boys over and setting up LAN parties, all playing Halo. Like that was a thing.
Yeah, and it was kind of like the beginning inklings of esports and things like that, and it helped sparked a lot of that attention. It was
especially console-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, PC always had Counter-Strike, and that always had a very dedicated crowd, but this was the first, like, competitive console shooter that really, like, picked up. I mean, I guess you could kind of say, you could have arguments for GoldenEye, but not really to the extent that Halo did. Like, Halo took it to another level.
Right. And so it's hard to beat that. And I get it, but damn, dude, it really is my favorite game of all time. And so it's like we get these moments to where I have a chance to talk about it, and I'm ready to be sad. I'm ready to pick up the game and go, oh, it's a new one. I'm ready to start the game, hear some kind of opera, you know, feel all the glitters and glams. I'm ready for all my friends to be on that same day. I'm ready. Like Alvin got his Xbox just recently, so he'll have it. We'll have the full party, full gaming, big team battle, tanks, wraiths, banshees, hornets. I'm smiling. I'm happy, and then I'll start picking the game apart, and I'll just be like,
just gotta not be so critical, man.
I can't do that.
For enjoyment's sake.
I can't do that. I just can't. It's just not how I work as a person, and so it's just like, I'm already slightly destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
At least I'll be able to play the game. And it's not like Halo 5 doesn't do anything well. I think the Warzone mode was cool. When I picked up
the big battle mode.
Yeah, it's like
people with the big giant tanks, and you have to. It's essentially like there's like AI too and whatnot.
Well, there is a mode with an AI portion of it, but there's a mode that's just completely multiplayer. And
Gotcha.
basically, it works kind of like Overwatch, like hosting the points and stuff. You have to take different points of the map and get to the end to win. So basically, you start off, everybody has 0 points. You start killing, and you get like these unlocks and stuff, so you can unlock higher tier vehicles, and you can use the money that you make from that into and use it against for like vehicles and weapons and so on and so forth to help you take the base that you need to take over. So.
Yeah, I think that's the mode I normally see my buddy Julian playing, but I'm not entirely too sure.
But the maps were terrible. Like that was that game's problem. Like that was like, like let's protect this fort type of deal. We're a team, we're a squad. Let's squad up and get a vehicle. And like there was a lot of cool aspects of it. The maps were terrible. The maps were just they were terrible. They were bad. Like the chokes weren't like face on. Some of them were like L shaped and stuff, and you had to do these weird things to get into the fort, and they were never like full on like let's go to the fort. It was like these weird like setups. They were terrible maps. The game had terrible maps.
It looked nice, but it wasn't like practical a lot of the time.
Yes. So like and just even the multiplayer maps were just terrible. Like I could just tell that they weren't Halo maps, and that was like my biggest complaint with all 343 Halo versions of the game. They just make bad maps. They just don't feel like Halo. Like, and I really hate with games like this that could literally take the old maps, keep them in rotation, add your little sprinkle on the end, and make maps. And I would have been so much more happy. Instead, they just, no, we gotta rehaul. We gotta completely upgrade. We gotta get rid of everything that everybody loves about this damn game. And it's just like, that's one thing that I don't want to see games do in the future. But it is E3, so I'm going to leave it there because we do have quite another long list of things to talk about.
We do. So, we have a few more things to go. Another thing for rumors, at least for the Xbox side, also potentially a new Gears of War.
Yeah,
I don't know how much that means to you. That doesn't mean anything to me, but I know a lot of people like Gears of War. And once again, it is an exclusive probably for Microsoft. And they desperately need those. Like, I can't stress enough how desperately Microsoft needs good exclusive titles. Because right now, they are getting their poo hole pushed in by Nintendo and Sony as far as exclusives go. Like, there's really no reason to own an Xbox if you own a PlayStation, other than the fact that the online service is better on the Xbox, in my opinion.
Oh, it is. Easily.
Yeah.
Hands down.
But that's it. That's all they have going for it. You can play pretty much every game on the Xbox on the PlayStation. And vice versa. Well, not vice versa. There's a lot of games on the PlayStation that you cannot play on the Xbox. I mean, granted, a lot of that comes from the Japanese market where Japanese developers just don't fuck with Xbox. So it is what it is. This game, I hope it happens. It was a rumor I was reading today about something they announced was happening, but they didn't really show anything of. Square Enix is making a Avengers video game. And there are rumors that we will see some sort of footage of it during Square Enix's press conference, which sounds cool.
Yeah, the way I heard that was basically they're starting a new IP. They're hiring like a lot of new people, and that's usually the signs of something being made. So
well, I'm pretty sure they informally announced it last year.
Okay.
Like that was a thing that they were working on. So now hopefully we'll get more information on the Avengers game that they're supposedly making. Also, there's rumors that we're actually going to get a Final Fantasy VII remake release date. Yeah, I'll eat my fucking foot if that happens. So I'm not really too concerned about that.
Yeah, I'm not even hyped for it. I'm not even excited for it.
Like I'm hyped for it if they announce it, but I'm not going to get hyped for the they've already announced it. They announced it a few years ago, and they're like, it'll be out in 2018. And me sitting here in 2018 is like, that game's not coming out this year. That game's never coming out.
That's kind of how I feel about Kingdom Hearts. So it's like,
but see, Kingdom Hearts is actually coming out. People have played Kingdom Hearts.
I'll hold my breath.
No, Kingdom Hearts.
It's one of those games where I'm like, I enjoyed it. There's a lot of good things about it. I'm definitely buying it, but I'm just not. I'm not in a rush anymore. Like, wow.
I mean, I'm not in a rush anymore, But when they announce that date, your boy is pre-ordering the Super Duper Collecto edition for that game. But other things, the new Xbox Pro Controller 2.0. This is the first hardware announcement I have written down. Mainly just because the Pro Controller is a very good piece of equipment, except it's also not. Have you ever used a Pro Controller? Do you know anybody who has a Pro Controller?
Not really. Real quick, I'm Johnny Mills, man. What's going on, man? Nice to see what's up and what's going on. No, actually, I'm not even familiar with the hardware itself. I probably own it. I just don't look too...
No, you would know if you own it. It's very different. It's different from a regular controller. So the Xbox Pro Controller costs more. It's like $100 and something. It's weighted. It's heavier. You have slots for triggers in the back. And you can change out the joysticks to different kinds of joysticks, whether you like it, conical, or whether you like it indented joysticks or protruding joysticks or whatever you want. There's all sorts of different combinations for that. So it's just for people who like to essentially customize the way they play, right? And I know a lot of people like to use it because of the triggers things. I have a bunch of friends who have the controller and swear by it, except for one thing. Every person who has a Pro Controller has broken it. The grip has always broken on the Pro Controllers. They are notoriously bad at the grip staying on. It's really bad. It's a really big issue. So they're supposedly going to be revealing the Pro Controller 2.0, which should hopefully fix all those things, which I know all my friends in the Pro Controller community are very excited about. So I hope for their sake that it gets announced. And the last thing I have for rumors is there's been rumors that Nintendo, how the past few years you got the mini NES and the mini Super Nintendo. Apparently the next one is going to be a mini Nintendo 64.
Ooh.
Which they may announce loaded with, an X amount of games from Nintendo history. And I think that would be pretty cool.
I would like that. I wouldn't buy it, but I'd like it.
Right. I probably wouldn't buy it either, but same, basically same.
That's terrible though.
Yeah. But to be fair, I haven't bought any of the other ones. I bought the Super Nintendo because I was like, oh, this is gonna be rare, and it was, and I bought it, and then I was like, I'm just gonna give it to my brother.
I mean, it's something to be desired. It's just not something I'd go out of my way to buy.
Right. Also, because what I'd prefer more is one thing that I'm hopeful for, and it's just Nintendo just doing a virtual console again, because the Switch is so perfect for that. The Switch would be perfect to play all these older games anywhere you want. It's so cool. It would be great. So that's one thing that I'm hopeful for, because I'm all out of rumors. I don't know if you have any rumors yet.
There's quite a few things that I wanted to talk about that you didn't hit on. But before we get off of that, I think the reason why I'm delighted that would happen, but not really going to buy it, because I just believe in backwards compatibility. Right. And I know that's difficult. I know that's hard. I know.
Well, for Nintendo, that you'll never get backwards compatible. You just got to accept that every console uses a different cartridge.
I don't know if it's possible. I don't create games, but that's what I would want from them. I would buy games if that was the case. I would buy
virtual, which is what Virtual Console essentially would be just selling the old games on the Switch.
Yeah, that's
on the Wii U, on the Wii, whatever. They all had Virtual Consoles. Switch still doesn't for some reason.
Okay, yeah, that's what I would want. I didn't know the terminology for it, but that's definitely
backwards compatible is meaning that you can play if I bring up my GoldenEye cartridge, I can put it in my Switch and still play it, which you'll never get that with Nintendo because, like I said, everything that they make, every time they make a new console, it's completely different. You can't put, a Game Boy cartridge in a well, I guess you can. I guess the DS is a bad example because that is kind of backwards compatible. It does have a slot for Game Boy Advance games and Game Boy regular games, but
no, I would rebuy the games though. I wouldn't try to put my old cartridges and stuff like that. I'm talking about them grabbing the code / data.
That's a virtual console, and that's exactly what everybody wants. Because
that's what I want.
That the Switch is so perfect for that. It is and so many people would throw $20, $30, $40 for games that came out 30 years ago. And they're still like, yeah, I want that game again. I want Super Mario RPG. Here's $20. Let me fucking play Super Mario RPG.
Yeah, easy. I could do that. I did it with Steam. There's plenty of games like those Sony Final Fantasy games. I bought those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I played them for a little bit and then got busy with other things. But yeah, like that's exactly what I want. But I heard that there's possibly, and I mean we've talked about it in the past, so I know you know about it. You just didn't bring it up. Is the possible Pokemon on the console a full-fledged?
They've all right. Well, so I didn't write that down because last week when we were talking, they had a Pokemon press conference type thing where they unveiled 2 new Pokemon games. Pokemon Quest, which is some weird game on the phone and Switch. I played it. I didn't understand what I was doing. I didn't understand why it existed, but it existed. And then the other thing was Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, which are remakes of Yellow version, but with Pokemon Go catch controls and co-op. It's really weird. I'm not quite sure what's going for there, but that's what it was announced are. But they also said at the end, they're like, hey, by the way, so you don't hate us because I know you guys are going to complain if we don't say this. We are making a pure RPG. It's coming out in 2019. Chill out. So that they
like instantly
so
you tell
exists.
me I'm like no, Nintendo, no.
Yeah, so it is I doubt we're gonna see anything from Nintendo. I think them saying that it exists is all we're gonna get for right now. But yeah, that's why I didn't bring it up because that is something that's been talked about, and last year they even was like it exists, and then this year they're like it still exists. We didn't lie to you last year. So I doubt we're gonna get anything more than maybe some guy just coming up on stage with like a Pikachu hat and being like, "It exists. Thank you, bye."
Like, why do they do that to themselves? Like, I don't understand.
Because
it just feels like
fanboys are crazy, dude. Fanboys are absolutely why anything that's anybody who's listening to this, if you're a super fan of something, don't take this the wrong way, but you're a crazy person. Anyone who's a super fan of anything is a crazy person because they will go through ridiculous measures to harass people into getting the information they want to hear or the information they like to hear. And it's absolutely outrageous. So I'm sure Nintendo has had they just posted random things on social media, and 300 damn Pokemon heads are like, when we get in Pokemon for the Switch, huh? And just it got to a point of annoyance where they're like, damn it, this guy is drawing it. Let him draw, okay?
I got you. Hamster96 says, I want Minecraft every year at E3. Maybe.
I mean, what?
Yeah, I know. It's just, clearly he's joking, but still.
I mean, I don't even know how they can improve upon Minecraft. Minecraft 2? Maybe. Who knows? That could be Microsoft's big announcement. They own the IP for Minecraft. Minecraft 2. There's a lot of Minecraft heads out there still. I know people who like Minecraft, like full-grown adults who know Minecraft. I know kids who like Minecraft.
I'm not the one, for sure, though. I am not the one.
I am not the one either, but,
although
like Minecraft. It's
the other thing on my list that I'm really kind of excited for is there might be another Armored Core.
Really? That's interesting. I didn't hear about that, but
it's rumored. Surprising. It's the same developers, and so people are assuming, especially the people that I've listened to, are kind of like, yeah, there could be a possible Armored Core. I'm a fan of Armored Core. Again, it suffers from the same issue that I feel like the Skyrim type of games fall for. That it's not that it's wide arching and there's a ton of side quests and all that other stuff. It's more along the lines of, you don't Need for Speed, where you do basically everything from the menu and then you just go into races. And then Need for Speed really got interesting once we were capable of doing some freelance driving around while you're getting to your destinations and stuff. I feel like Armored Core suffers from that, to where it's too from the menu, not so much as in I'm going around and I'm doing things and stuff like that. So it's it's just not one of those games that I want to play from a menu. and then kind of go into my little limited space world. I think that game does need to open up a little bit. It doesn't need to be full on full world. It doesn't need a battle royale, even though that would be kind of cool too. But just
Gundam Battle Royale. You kidding me, man?
It'd be fun, dude. But it needs more than just a title screen to kind of give it a little bit more life.
Right.
Because the stories.
To be fair, I don't want title screen announcements anymore. I want real announcements. I want the reason why I'm not super pissed about Borderlands for being hey, we're not really gonna have a big Borderlands 3 is not gonna have a presence at E3 because we're not gonna announce it until it's ready to come out 3 to 5 months later. Yeah, okay, do that. I prefer that because that way when I see it, I only have to contain my hype for a short period of time and not be oh, that was a cool picture. Oh, I can't wait for the next 3 years when we'll maybe get a second or third picture.
Man, those new classes that they were saying that they were gonna have, they sound cool, man. I wonder what they're gonna be like, man. I hope they bring back all the classes. I hope they're all playable.
I don't know anything about Armored Core, so I really can't say too much.
Oh,
I might have played it once.
I'm talking about Borderlands.
Oh, for Borderlands, yeah. When Borderlands gets announced, it gets announced. But I'm not too worried about it. I think they are announcing something Borderlands at E3. Keep an eye out for that. Just don't know what. I've heard that it's potentially a remaster remake of the first Borderlands, which I think is a very welcome thing because I've never finished the first Borderlands. I know, crazy, Dan, you love Borderlands. You talk about it a lot. Yes, I do. But I've never played the first Borderlands because the UI is garbaggio. And I always get to a certain point and I'll get lost because there's no map. There's no mini map. It's just a line with a dang diamond on it. And I got to follow the diamond. And I get lost. I'm just I get frustrated. And I'm done with this game. I'm going to go play the better Borderlands.
I don't think I beat Borderlands 2. I think I've only beat Borderlands 1. I'm the complete opposite.
Yeah, I've played through Borderlands 2 9 times, 10 times, 12 times, a lot. Way too many times for sure.
I'm too much of a freaking team player and stuff. And how many exclusives will Xbox or Microsoft get? I think a lot actually. I've heard rumors that they've actually hired a bunch of new IP people or hired a bunch of people for it too as well.
That's what they need too. That's really what they need. So I hope they have exclusives. I think they'll get the Halo, they'll get Gears, maybe Minecraft. Who knows?
I mean, I still want Crackdown.
Rare title, maybe Crackdown.
I still want Crackdown. I mean,
it is coming. It just keeps getting delayed. I'm sure we'll hear about it again, and they'll be "Here's the game picture. Here's Terry Crews blowing shit up."
I'm legitimately excited about it. It's like that Rockstar type of feel game for me that I actually enjoy. It's like controlled chaos in a way that I enjoy. It has a leveling system, and it's a little interesting. You're kind of this weird super soldier, and I've liked all the ones that they've made so far. Obviously, they were lacking a lot of depth, but I'm excited to buy that game.
I mean, everyone seems to like the Crackdown series. My guess is the reason they're delaying it is just to make it the best possible game it could be. So, I don't think that a lot of people get afraid of delays, but I think in the gaming world, a delay is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, it's okay for me as long as you provide reasonable explanation on why. I don't it's delayed because we want to make the best game humanly possible. That's not cool. It's delayed because we have a few bugs that are detriment to the release of the game. I'll accept that. Mm-hmm. But not, it's delayed. Don't just say it's delayed. Don't do that. That's bad. But, in general. But yeah, I've actually heard, in the rumor mill that there's actually quite a few exclusives that we should expect. Number one, you said, because
Microsoft,
they need it.
We're going to should get a handful this year.
Because they need it for sure, and, I like Xbox, my favorite console. By far. It's the one I use the most.
I mean, I spend most of my time on Xbox. I have all my other consoles hooked through my Xbox, so I can talk to my friends on Xbox Live while I play anything.
Right, exactly. There's a lot of things, but... the other things that I've heard is that there might be a Devil May Cry of some sort. Maybe a full-on mainstay Devil May Cry 5. Basically,
so you think
Twitter,
they would go back to the Devil May Cry series and not continue the DMC series?
I have no idea. That's what basically they said. I'm going off of what they said and the stuff I've researched. They were like, basically, the guy who does the voice of Virgil said something's going down at the E3, and people are like, I wonder what that could be. And I know people feel differently about each series, but
listen, either or, I am interested. I loved Devil May Cry 4. I very much so enjoyed DMC. I think DMC gets a bad rap because people are like, look at Dante. He looks so edgy. You look at this guy. He's not the Dante I know and love. Where's his white hair? Like, people are so fucking stuck in their own minds that they refuse to play a game because it looks slightly different than they remember. And yeah, sure, there's parts of Devil May DMC that are a little like, I'm an edgelord Dante, and I'll agree with that, especially like the opening scene. But overall, that game was a lot of fun. I had a great time playing that game when it was like a free game of the month on PS3, and one of my roommates had a PS3, and I was already done with school at this point. I was just living there and working, so I was just like, yo, while you guys are at classes all day, I'm just gonna sit here and play DMC and get high. It was awesome. It was a good time.
I mean, I definitely like the game though.
Yeah, I welcome any sort of Devil May Cry, man. I love Devil May Cry.
I don't want to buy it though. I want to borrow it from somebody. Like, it's a good game, but I still want to borrow it. I don't want to buy it. Like the last one, the mainstay with Virgil and stuff, I really, really did enjoy. I like the story. I kind of like the way it ended. I liked how Virgil...
Are you talking about Devil May Cry 4 with with Nero and stuff? Yeah. A lot of people didn't like that one either, and I loved that one. I thought Nero was great, and everybody's like, he's not Dante. It's like, yeah, I know Dante's the person you play as the second half of the game. Chill out.
I enjoyed it in general.
I thought it was great. I like Nero a lot. I thought it was a really fun game. It's almost a meme of making a super console and having no games or exclusives. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, I agree. I think it'll come around, though. I think...
it kind of has to.
Yeah, they have to. Otherwise, they're going to die. But at the end of the day, I think they were just tracing industry trends. I think the business got in the way.
Well, I also think that they were more so concerned about their hardware. And now that their hardware is top of the line, they have the time and resources to dedicate to gaming, whereas I think they were more so concerned about getting their hardware there at first. But who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they don't make good exclusives too, though, because they do make really, really popular exclusives. You could do that, but Halo does exist.
Oh yeah, Halo. Okay, all right, yeah.
They do have giant games. Years ago. But they might have done a terrible job in that sense. They might have ruined the franchise a little bit, but that's
like, I mean, if you look at the most recent Xbox exclusives we have State of Decay 2. I don't know anything about that game, so I'm not going to say whether it's good or bad. You have Sea of Thieves, which is more of an experience than a game. You got Super Lucky's Tale. You got Recore. You have Gears of War 4. Like, that's not a good, like, I wouldn't hang my hat and be like, job well done, Microsoft. We did it. Exclusive boys. Like, nah. That's embarrassing. That's an embarrassing track record of exclusives.
I mean, Gears of War and Halo are kind of like really big games in my life, I guess, I suppose, and kind of like a lot of what I focus on. So it's like, for me, it's like, sure, but they did make gaming for me.
Going off of what Hangster said, saying, I thought it was funny when they said it was the most powerful console, but it couldn't handle PUBG. That's because PUBG is not a well-made game.
It's not. It's terrible.
It doesn't run well really on anything. Like, there's a couple computers that run it really well.
They're too busy.
Even still, it's like the most boring-looking game ever.
And they're still like trying to sue Fortnite,
yeah.
Which is like
I will not blame Xbox, the Xbox One X, for PUBG being bad. I will blame PUBG being bad for PUBG being bad, because that game just it's not good. It's not a good game.
It's not.
And every game wants to copy it.
They're so close though. They could still bring it back if they go back and give people what they want, which is a less buggy game, a more interactive map, just speed up different guns, gun updates and stuff so they function properly. Like there's a lot of people
Listen
like
to
PUBG.
the community, basically.
Yeah, people like
what
PUBG.
Fortnite does. That's the thing. Yeah, people do. People love PUBG. A lot of them like it even more than Fortnite, and that's fine. Totally get it. To each their own. If you like playing a battlegrounds game in first person rather than third person, sure, I get it. Fine. However, the leaps and bounds that Fortnite has made to make itself a success, PUBG just doesn't seem to care about. Which is why there's a big disparity between people who play Fortnite and respect Fortnite and people who play PUBG and respect PUBG.
I am not familiar with the series either, but I heard Cyberpunk's gonna come out. I'm so not familiar with it, but I thought it was a pretty popular game and people were really into it, so like I figured I'd mention it because
For all them Cyberpunk heads out there.
Do you know about it at all?
I have no idea.
Okay, we'll just skip over it. And before we go into my meh that I've actually heard about, I just want more turn-based strategy games. I mentioned that at the end of our talk last time. I just want more turn-based strategy games that meet my fancy. I just no JRPGs. Like there's clearly a market for turn-based strategy games. Please make them. Please don't wait till Money Match Gaming's successful and we have a bunch of money and we buy our own studio and then I have to dump a bunch of money into making my turn-based strategy game.
That'll sell like 15 units because no one plays those. That's why nobody's making them, because nobody plays them.
That's not entirely true.
It actually is. I saw a chart with like real data of the amount of games that people play and the timeline, and it is wild how low like RPG games still have like 3 or 4%, which has surprised me. But online shooters have a huge stranglehold on the market. It's pretty crazy. Online shooters and action games, action role playing games, like a God of War type action.
How good did Persona 5 do?
I mean, it did good, but it didn't do like it would not compare to any main AAA title that sold here in America.
Because, I do know of a lot of online games that I feel like are doing pretty good. Turn-based strategy games are cool. I played them when I was little. My favorite one was Legend of Dragons. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's what I want. That would be exactly the kind of game that I want, that I've talked about on the podcast several times.
Because I like those types of games. But I'm just saying the reason they don't make them is because the money is just not there at the moment.
I mean, and there are games like BattleTech and stuff like that. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it came out on PC. That seems to be doing well. There's XCOM. XCOM isn't the most popular game in the world, but that definitely did.
It's actually free on if you PlayStation Plus for June. You can get XCOM 2 for free. So heads up to all them PlayStation Plus folk in the audience.
And I really enjoyed that game itself, XCOM. I don't know if I liked 2 very much. Like watching people play it, I was kind of like,
I don't play like the tactical strategies like Fire Emblem or XCOM. Any game where if my players die, I can't get them back. I ain't playing those games because I get emotional attachments to my characters, and I'll never get past the level because I'll just be like, they're dead again. Gotta restart.
I mean, typically I do that too. I restart. I just work my way through the perfection.
I hate that play style though, of just constantly redoing the same thing because like RNG fucked you.
Sometimes RNG is really, really bad though.
Yeah.
To where it's like that should have just not happened. To where it's like 5 troopers will run up on somebody, will all shoot,
or you'll have a 93% chance to hit and fucking somehow miss.
Yeah. And it's like the most dire situation in the world.
The best is what I saw. It was like a picture from XCOM, and the dude like literally had the gun in the guy's face, and it was like 98% chance, and then he missed.
Well, what's worse? What's always worse about XCOM is like that'll happen, and I'll be like, okay, cool, and then the next turn, they'll one-shot me. And I'm
and it'll be like they have like 2% chance to hit, and you're like, oh, I guess I'm dying.
Like it was, that was the situation. And then sometimes they put you in some really, really unfair situations to where it's like, yeah, we're just going to drop 5 berserkers and they're going to run at your face and maul your whole squad on the same turn. because that's how this works.
Yeah.
And it's like you just don't have the firepower to deal with it, and like I don't know, I'm not no bitch, so I don't retreat. Yeah. So it's like there's like a lot of things that they should have done with XCOM that I feel like they didn't do. Again, that's a very kind of from the mission or title screen. Basically, you go into missions. It's very limited open space. There was very limited like mission styles, which I thought they tried to fix in 2, but like it just didn't look appealing at all. They could have done more defend the base type situations.
I heard 2 was really good. I heard 2 is actually...
after the mods. There's probably lots of mods that make the game playable, but that's like a lot.
I don't know. I have a lot of friends who like preach XCOM 2, like that. They loved that game. Like when the expansion came out, loved it even more. But they really loved XCOM 2. I know a lot of people who really enjoyed that game.
But maybe eventually I'll get into it. So a few of the meh that I've heard that there could possibly be a Bloodborne 2. I've never gave Bloodborne 1 a chance.
I mean, it's a Dark Souls game. If you're into Dark Souls, actually, most people say it's the best of the Souls type games. I have Bloodborne. I got it for free on the PlayStation Plus. I played it for 20 minutes, and I was like, oh, I'm bad at Dark Souls games and don't want to get any good at them. Turn off. So I don't really have a place to stand in that argument.
Right. And then I heard that there's possibly something going on with Elder Scrolls on a deeper level. I think you've briefly touched over it, but not like really went into super detail. But, that seems a little interesting. I like it, but I don't like it that much. Again, I'll keep restating it. It's just the way it's presented, and it's just too loosey-goosey. Here's the game, here's your play sandbox area. Do what you want in it. Like, I'm just not that type of guy. I do enjoy story.
You're talking about Elder Scrolls 6? I'm sorry, I'm
Well, I don't know if it's Elder Scrolls 6. I just heard that they're like working on something. They seem to be putting a lot of money into it. It's about time that they release one of their mainstay games, and Elder Scrolls just makes too much sense.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what they were speculating.
It's probably just Fallout 76, to be honest. Though I mean, they have the biggest ad. Like the ad space around E3, there's always that one hotel that has like a really big ad every year. It's usually like the big title for the year. It has a Fallout 76 ad on it now. So I think that's going to be the main part of Bethesda's conference.
I hope it's something I can buy though, because it's not like I don't like Fallout. It just gets boring because that what I keep stating over and over. There's also something possibly to do with Splinter Cell. I don't know if you're a big fan of Splinter Cell at all, but like, meh. It was an okay game. I understand why people like it, It reminded me a lot like Hitman. I don't remember which one it was that everybody loves so much, but it's kind of just how Splinter Cell makes me feel.
Oh, that's another thing. They're gonna Hitman Season 2 for like the newest Hitman that came out by Square Enix. I think they're announcing that during the Square Enix thing because they've been teasing it on Twitter, so I imagine that's what they're teasing.
And then outside of that, there's Superman Arkham Knight.
Superman?
So basically, there was a rumor that Superman was coming out, and it was going to be made by the same people who make Arkham Knight, and so it's going to be kind of from that kind of realm and stuff like that. Now, I'm not a big Batman Arkham Knight type of dude. I know people love it.
Those games are good. Those games are pretty good, but I don't.
But from Superman's perspective, I guess
Superman should just be like, press A to win game. Congratulations, you won game. Way to be Superman. That's it. That's Superman's whole deal.
So that's basically what I got from that and stuff like that, and it's interesting, but I don't know.
Hankster agrees with me on Battleborn 2. He says he spent 2 hours installing it just to die once and never play it again. That's the exact same thing I did.
I mean, I enjoy games like that. I'm just not willing to buy them. Like, that's my thing. Is like, I'm like, people are like, God of War, great. I just don't know if I'm willing to buy it.
God of War is nothing like a Dark Souls game.
No, I'm just saying that those are the types of games that like are enjoyable. I just can't find it in me to buy.
Nah, for me, the Souls games, the Souls series of games, whether it be Dark Souls, Code Vein is coming out. That's the same shit. Demon Souls, Bloodborne. It's torture porn, man. It's just like, oh man, I'm dead again. This game is so hard. Oh yeah,
I do like challenge though. I do enjoy that.
The problem is it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and then it's not. Like once you master it, like my buddy just got the Dark Souls first game just came out remastered, and in 30 hours he 100%ed the game. Like got every achievement in the game, played through it 3 times, just because he has that much knowledge of the game that he's just like, yep, I can just do it with my eyes closed now. So it is hard to start, but it's not consistent hard. It's just hard to start.
To learn. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I got you. There's quite a few games like that, you know, but I mean, that's probably why I quit so many games. But in the end, like, I don't know. It's something. And so is the Superman thing. Like, if it really is built like Arkham Knight, Batman Arkham Knight, then I think it'll be popular.
I'd rather play Spider-Man Arkham Knight, which is essentially what the Spider-Man game kind of looks like and looks insanely good. So I'm happy about that. I don't need no goddamn Superman game. Your ass Superman, get him out of here.
So that's pretty much it for me and my list, you know.
Well, like... I've got a bunch of stuff here.
Oh yeah.
Hopeful for. I know we've gone on for a while, so thank you guys for hanging with us. Got a few things. I'll probably go through them pretty quick. But on my hopeful list, Persona something. Anything Persona. Could be a new fighting game Persona. Could be Persona 6. Could be Persona 5 for the phone. Could be Persona 5 for the Switch or the Xbox. I don't care. Just I want there to be some sort of Persona presence. I would really like the Western release date of Persona 5 Dancing Star Night and Persona 3 Dancing Moon Night. I don't think we're going to get any Persona news, but that's something I'm very hopeful for. And by the way, I just want to point out that everything I have written in my hopeful thing is pretty much doubtful. It's not been leaked anywhere. It's not been sort of specs like nobody is like being like, oh, this might happen. This is just like shit that I want. That if like some guys reading my Twitter page, they're gonna be like, oh, we should do this. We should make this games. So don't take all this with a grain of salt. Something Borderlands. We talked about that a little earlier. I think they might announce Borderlands 1. Maybe they're lying to us about Borderlands 3. Who knows? I just want something. I just want it to be present. But I also now that I said something Borderlands, I want to retract that because I don't want it to be Borderlands Battle Royale as like not everything Borderlands is a positive response. But hey, whatever. A non-Battlefront Star Wars title. That's a big thing that I would like. I want a new Star Wars game, like a game set in the Star Wars universe that is not Star Wars Battlefront. Because guess what? The last 2 Star Wars Battlefronts have been booty butt cheeks. I think we can all agree on that. And if we can't agree on that, you're probably wrong and have bad opinions. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever, like what you like. But those games have been pretty bad, whether it be from a PR perspective or from a actually fun game perspective. They look great. They're beautiful games. But are they good? Nah. Not in the slightest. So I want a battle, like a Star Wars game, whether it be the Bounty Hunter, like Coruscant game that they talked about a long time ago that I know that Lucas Games Studio shut down and that game's not going to happen anymore. But what if they made something similar? Or like a new Knights of the Old Republic game. I just started playing Knights of the Old Republic 1. That was for the original Xbox. Came backwards compatible on the Xbox One. I've been playing that recently. It's pretty good.
See, I kind of think like Alvin, to where it's like I wish there was like a Star Wars Academy one.
Yeah, like Jedi Academy game. Yeah, cool. Dude, I'm down with that.
Yes, that'd be so fun. Like, yeah. It was such an awkward game.
Even like the X-Wing games were dope. Like, there's so many good Star Wars spin-off games out there that we can't just get Battlefront, because although Battlefront was probably the best one, these recent ones were probably the worst ones. So let's cut our losses and work on a different Star Wars project for a bit. No one will care. No one will be like, where's Battlefront 3? And if they are like that, they're crybabies anyway. Who cares?
I'm a little like that. I enjoy the Battlefront series. I agree with you. It'd be cool.
I enjoy the Pandemic Battlefront series. I think these EA travesties have been garbagios. They've been there's no real aiming mechanic. Like gameplay wise, they're not great. It's essentially a race to see who gets the Sith or Jedi, and then it's game over. The flight combat was okay, but there wasn't enough of it.
Yeah, it wasn't complex enough.
Right.
For sure.
There also wasn't like one cool thing in Battlefront 2 is you had levels that were like hybrid, where you start flying around and then you land on the ships and then fight on the ships as well, land style. So I thought that was a really cool. Honestly, Star Wars Battlefront 2, like the pandemic game, is a masterclass of how to do a cool Star Wars game. Like you had mad characters in that game from the whole universe. Who cares about timelines? The correct response to Star Wars timelines, because I don't give a shit about it. I'm not playing a Battlefront game for the dang timeline. I'm playing it so I could have a fun time. So yeah, Star Wars Battlefront 2, great timeline, great mechanics all around. Still, to this day, still runs pretty well. Like it is a still good game. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look like a good game, but it is a good game. So I want something.
And yes, they will continue to buy Star Wars games. I think Star Wars fanatics are worse than COD fanatics. Worse as in there's just more of them. I don't mean actual worse.
Oh no, I mean Star Wars fanatics are actually terrible people too. I found that out today, where like the girl who played Rose in the new Star Wars film had to delete her Instagram account because people were just flooding everything with hate because they didn't like The Last Jedi and blamed her for it because this actress had a say in why that movie was ass. Like, okay, Rose wasn't the best character, whatever. Like, move on. Yeah.
People hated Rose?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
it took me a second to remember who she was, but
I didn't dislike Rose, but I didn't hate her. Yeah. She didn't do anything that made me hate her. People were like, she ruined Star Wars and she's going to feel the pain. So people were just assholes on Twitter. Yeah, dude. This is like a big thing. This happened today, too. You can look it up. It's all over the internet. So, yeah, Star Wars heads, like over the top Star Wars heads are crazy nutsos. And that's why I'm saying.
You're complaining about that movie?
What?
This late in the game, you're complaining about that movie?
Dude, yeah, people are still crying about that movie. I don't get it. Like, I didn't like the movie. And my main complaint was like, I didn't like the movie. And that's it. I don't have to address this any further. Other people enjoyed it. Cool. Other people didn't enjoy it. Cool. I'm not going to go to like the actor's house and be like, hey, be in better movies, you jerk. Like, what does that accomplish?
Wow.
Yeah, man. Internet's a weird place. Internet is.
I told you earlier that my day was a little wrecked, but well, damn, bro.
Yeah, dude.
What is?
I don't get it either, man. And like all day, I've dealt with. I've seen like people on Twitter being like really, in her defense, being like, hey, that no one deserves that kind of things. And yeah, absolutely, no one does deserve that kind of things. But man, I guess Daisy Ridley deleted her Instagram account for the same thing. I don't know if it was negative comments. It might be. I'm guessing so. But that's shitty, man. That like these people have to delete something that they enjoy because people are just shitty to them on it. So whatever. I'm done with that.
Oh,
I would like a non-Battlefront Star Wars title. Another thing. Yeah, I have two more things written down.
We gotta laugh it off.
I have two more things written down. World of Warcraft for the consoles. That is definitely not something that's going to get announced at E3 or probably ever, but I want it, and I'm going to say it every time I'm talking about things I'm hopeful they announce at E3. I want to play World of Warcraft again, but my computer cannot run it well, and I'm not buying a new computer. It's not worth it for just World of Warcraft. I would love to play World of Warcraft on my Xbox One. I think I would and I would pay still the $15 a month or whatever it costs. I would gladly do that to just the convenience of being able to play that game on the console. And just I probably would get friends into it too, which it's kind of weird. Like a lot of my friends don't play MMOs, but I could probably convince them to play World of Warcraft because of how good it is. And a lot of people have never played World of Warcraft because they just don't have the computer for it. Like a lot of my console friends are like, yeah, I mean, I never had a computer, so there's never a reason to play. So that's something I really want and will always want. And the last thing I have on my list is I'd like them to announce or make remasters of the original Metroid Prime games. They've announced Metroid Prime 3 coming out, so I think a logical thing to do, since there's been such a big gap of time in between 2 and 3, is to remaster 1 and 2 and re-release them on the Switch before 3 comes out so everybody can get that little taste. And it'll be great for me because I had those games as a kid and I just couldn't get them. I couldn't get into them, but I wanted to. And I know as an adult, as a fully functioning adult with like the mind I have now and not being like, this game is too dark. Like, I think I would really enjoy those games because I've only heard great things about them. So I really would like to play them in today's game sphere, which I can't because A, there's no virtual console at the moment, and B, they haven't remastered the game. So some way, if they bring some way of getting those games to me on the Switch, I would very much so appreciate it. Hold on a second. I'm going to stop right here. Reading the comments, we got Hangster over here saying the Warcraft movie was good, though, in his opinion. And I respect you for having an opinion, but you're wrong, my man. That movie was objectively bad. It started out great. The ending was terrible, and the ending ruined the entire movie. The way that the Dark Portal worked in that movie did not make any sort of sense. So that's I will question you on that. But it was an enjoyable movie the first half, so I see where you're coming from, and I'm glad that you liked it.
Alvin loved it.
Kingdom Come Deliverance, that game gets crazy dark even when you have the torch up. I haven't. I've heard good things about that game though, but I have not played it myself. I don't know. Have you played it, Lance?
No, my brother does. He loves those types of games. He likes Rust. He likes Fallout. He likes Skyrim. He likes Elder Scrolls. That's his type of game. He likes the aimless, I have a playbox or sandbox to play in type of game. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't know if it was dark or anything like that. I'm sure I could play it if I want to. Again, I've been saying it this entire podcast. Like, I like there to be a mainstay story. If they had a compelling mainstay story that was linear enough for me to go, okay, it's time for me to go learn about this and, what's the point of this game and all that other stuff other than aimless exploring, like, I would love those games a lot more. So if, like, Skyrim and Elder Scrolls and all these other, like, games that are like this, that are built like that, had a better compelling story, then I think I would love those games a lot. I don't think they're bad games at all. It's just like a game that's like we did some things. Play it if you like it. Don't play it if you don't, because that's just how it makes me feel. I like stories. I enjoy them. And yeah. It's like it's just so far from that. So it's like I know that game's a lot similar or really similar in that aspect to where it's good probably in all retrospect of what it is, but I bet you it just kind of has a loosey-goosey, when you feel like it main story. Not, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to learn what's happening next. Never that. Never that.
But that's all I have for things. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you're hopeful, even if it's like an outlandish thing that you want them to announce at E3?
They're not going to.
Oh yeah, Puzzle Fighter. I want there to be a Puzzle Fighter on consoles.
But
I know they announced a fake one coming out to the Switch, and it's $40, and I might buy it, but I don't want to spend $40 on Puzzle Fighter.
I mean, I'm gonna re-emphasize it. I do enjoy Borderlands 3. It'll give me, or Borderlands in general, it'll give me another opportunity to play something with you and stuff like that. So, like, I'm just gonna throw that out there. Again, I really do enjoy the idea of a it would depend. I'm more excited for like a Fallout, like Battleground survival type game. I think that'd be interesting, but
to each their own, my man.
We didn't talk about Battlefield though.
Yeah, what's there to talk about?
Yeah, it's meh. But I mean, there's a lot of people that like it.
A lot of people love that game. You're absolutely right. A lot of people love Call of Duty too, but those aren't games I really have anything to say about. Like, those games exist, and they will continue to come out pretty much every year, and they will be relatively the same, but everybody will be like, but it's not boots on ground, which is the dumbest thing. I hate the saying boots on ground. So stupid.
But like Dan said, we've gone on for a little while, man. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you, Hamster, for being a live member of our discussion.
Hamster.
Hamster. I called him Hamster. It's Hangster.
Called him Hamster.
But thank you, man, for coming out, man. Much appreciated. We do this every Tuesday on a regular, you know. So if you're interested, you want to come talk. I think next week we're going to do Upgrade.
Yeah, Upgrade. It's a movie.
Yes, a movie.
In case you hadn't heard
Hamster.
of it. I hadn't heard of it.
I was right. It's Hamster. Yeah.
How is it? It says I'm reading it. How does it say? How is it Hamster?
I mean, Hamster was probably already taken, so he was like, all right, well, let me do something close. Isn't next week E3 though?
E3 is this weekend, and it goes until Tuesday morning. It starts Saturday, goes until Tuesday morning. I mean, we could next week talk about our reactions to E3. I think we'll probably do a half and half episode, maybe, if anything.
Yeah, do a closing.
Because I can't imagine us saying too much about this Upgrade movie. But maybe it'll be a revelation. Who knows?
And went ahead, man. We were just doing our closing remarks, man. But thank you for coming out. I hope your battle right was good as you ruined my childhood. Dan was the guy who was describing that you are indeed right. I was naive. The Rock was a villain.
Is the wrestling guy?
Yeah, he's not into wrestling. He was just explaining something, and I used an example, but he was like, "Yeah, The Rock was a bad guy," and I was like, no, everybody likes The Rock.
No,
literally,
he started as a bad guy. He became a good guy. It's the whole thing. Happens with every wrestler.
I'm damaged, man. I'm damaged.
Yeah, I mean, see, because I watch it, so I watch it as an adult, so I notice these things. But as a kid, to me, The Rock was always a good guy, even when they were bad. Like when Stone Cold was a bad guy, I'm like, I'd still agree with the things he says.
Yeah, I never thought he was a bad guy either.
Right, yeah.
They might have wrestled against each other, but I thought it was just like, hey, we're supposed to wrestle here and there.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what it was. That's what that match in WrestleMania 17 was billed as. Was just like a dream match, like the two great wrestlers gonna battle each other because Stone Cold won the Royal Rumble and The Rock is the champion, so they're gonna battle. It's gonna be great. And then it ended with the heel turn, which was, it was nice. It's unexpected, and that's probably why many people say that WrestleMania 17 is one of the best WrestleManias of all time. And I won't really disagree too much with them. There's a lot of good matches on that. You got the TLC early on in the card. Oof, the first TLC match was. It was actually the second one, but still.
So good.
It was very good.
But Hamster, once again, thank you for coming out, man. That pretty much does it for me. One more time, Dan, anything before we, close it down?
Nah, I got nothing to say. It was a good conversation. This one went a little long, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff to talk about E3. I'm really excited. I expect us to be texting a lot back and forth during this coming weekend about all the exciting things. Honestly, I might take off work next Tuesday.
I'm just about to be like Xbox. I'm hopeful.
To the Sega tune. Did Sega just buy Xbox?
No. Like chanting at a stadium. Xbox.
Okay.
Xbox. Like a stadium, but no, I wasn't gonna be that way. But
so in my head, it was just like Sega, Xbox.
Nah, I wasn't shooting for
Microsoft.
that.
Disney.
But we'll see you guys later. Until next week, my dudes.
See you guys.